Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Andrew, and I'll be sharing with you our first two strategies, linking up with experts and mediation. From our lessons learned, we have crafted a solution package called Conflict No More, and this package will implement our strategies of linking up with experts, mediation, and BLFS as a compromise. The order of strategies is as shown in this flowchart. Firstly, we will be linking up both parties with experts on mediation, which will be dispatched from the Singapore Mediation Centre, SMC. This will be followed up by our first session of mediation. There can be two outcomes of this mediation session. If there is a solution generated, this will lead to the success of mediation and therefore result in a resolution of the conflict. However, if both parties cannot come together in an agreement, this will result in the failure of our first mediation session, by which there will be a suggestion of BLFS as a compromise made to both parties. This will be followed up by our second mediation session, and with the BLFS as the focus of discussion. This, we hope, will result in the resolution of our conflict. Our first strategy is linking up with experts. Research has shown that parties are unwilling to attend mediation because they are unsure of the process of mediation. Thus, in order to remedy this problem, we have came up with this strategy of linking up with experts. This strategy involves having both parties meet up with experts on mediation set by SMC. These experts will explain to both parties how mediation can be used to suit their needs. This, we hope, will encourage both parties to attend mediation. Our second strategy is mediation itself. We chose mediation as, unlike court settlements, mediation solutions generated in mediation do not favor one party and tend to be more creative, as they are generated by brainstorming sessions where both parties take part. Now, I'll explain to you the specifics of mediation. Our mediation will be held in rooms owned by SMC. As we are using SMC's facilities, we must abide by their guidelines. SMC states that lawyers must be present during the mediation process. The role of lawyers in mediation is to help explain to both parties the prospects of success in pre-mediation and help to finalize the solution generated by both parties through the signing of documents at the end of mediation. The representatives of mediation will be Joseph Lai, Ria Tan, and Siva Sodi for the environmentalists. We chose these three individuals because they are the most active environmentalists in this conflict of Chek Jawa. For MINDEF, we suggest that they form a committee where the chairman, vice chairman, and secretary of this committee attend mediation for MINDEF. This table behind me illustrates how SMC carries out pre- and post-mediation processes. As you can see from this table, they have provided us with a very vague description on how they carry out the actual process of mediation. Thus, from our research, we have came up with our own process of mediation as shown here. Research has shown that the optimum time for mediation is 3 hours. Thus, this timeline behind us shows how the 3 hours will be divided, where steps that are vital to the success of mediation will take longer times, such as opinion generation and negotiation and agreement. When steps that are not very crucial to our mediation, such as the mediator's introduction and opening remarks, will take up to only 10 to 20 minutes. A month before mediation, preliminary arrangements will be settled, such as settlement of mediator's fees, date of mediation, and other miscellaneous processes. Now, I'll hand over to our next speaker, Roy, which will explain to us our last strategy, VLFS as a form of compromise. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Good morning, everyone. I am Roy, and today I will be talking about our backup plan, VLFS. It will be suggested only if our first mediation session fails, which is quite unlikely given SMC's 73% success rate in over 1,500 cases. It will be suggested as a compromise, as shown in the flowchart here. Our research has shown that subsequent mediation sessions are unlikely to succeed. Therefore, we would allow for a 2-week cool-down period before a second round of mediation. For this round, Professor Wang Qianping, a VLFS expert, will be linked to the two parties. This would be followed up by a mediation sequence which is exactly identical to the first one. So, what exactly is a VLFS? The floating buildings shown here are examples of very large floating structures. I'm sure many of you may be familiar with the float at Marina Bay in Singapore, shown here. Professor Wang would demonstrate the effectiveness of VLFS and convince the two parties that this is a viable solution to the conflict. We have found that VLFS is better than land reclamation in terms of cost and time. Instead of piling up sand, as in land reclamation, VLFS is on the water surface. This is why, in deeper waters, which is becoming more and more common as Singapore reclaims more land, VLFS is more cost-effective as compared to land reclamation. Furthermore, land reclamation can take 10 to 15 years. Our proposed VLFS would take less than 1 to assemble and be ready for use. There are two types of VLFS, semi-submersibles and pontoon structures. For semi-submersibles, they are attached to the seabed via thin pillars. For pontoon structures, they are supported by steel wiring from mainland. We will be suggesting that semi-submersibles be used as they can support more weight and withstand stronger waves. For this strategy, we propose that 3 square standard VLFS be sited off the shores of 3 southern islands in Singapore. Each of them would have an area of 1 square kilometer and a height of 2 meters. The gray bridges shown here would allow easy accessibility. MINDEF would be able to transport equipment and vehicles across the 3 islands. It would be used as storage. For this whole setup, we have 3 reasons. Firstly, the military is the sole owner of the designated area, and therefore there would not be any territorial problems. Secondly, the height of 2 meters would prevent water from collecting on the structure via ocean waves. Thirdly, the total area of our proposed VLFS, 3 square kilometers, is roughly the amount of land that would have been reclaimed at Chek Jawa. Now, I would like to stress that this strategy is a compromise between MINDEF and the environmentalists. For MINDEF, they would receive a plot of land for military activities, but it would be limited in the type of activities carried out. For example, live tank firing involving explosions cannot be carried out on VLFS. For the environmentalists, a significant nature reserve would be kept, but there would still be some environmental damage due to the presence of the VLFS. Next, I will hand the time to Erwin, who will talk about our project evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Good morning, everyone. I'm Erwin, and I'll be doing an evaluation of our strategies. Firstly, one of the main reasons why we believe our strategies would be likely to work is because both MINDEF and the environmentalists have come together before in the past when the conflict first arose back in 2001. This is why we believe both parties would be willing to come together for discussions again. Furthermore, by now using SNC as an appropriate mediator who has a track record of over 73% success rate in over 1,500 cases, this will further increase the success rate of our mediation sessions. Even if our first mediation session fails, we still have a backup plan in the form of the LFS. Now, I'll be presenting to you three main reasons why our VRFS is both a feasible and an effective solution. Firstly, our proposed VRFS will be able to withstand a total mass equivalent to that of 3,000 military tanks, each weighing 30,000 kg each. This shows that our proposed VRFS, it has a high weight capacity and is able to withstand a large amount of mass, and that's why this makes it feasible for storage purposes. Secondly, construction of our VRFS is cost effective as it costs 5 times lesser compared to reclaimed land. Thirdly, construction of the VRFS will take 40 years faster to be completed and ready for use compared to that of reclaimed land, and it is also able to last for up to 100 years. This shows that our proposed VRFS is able to work not just in the short term but also in the long term as well. Using the float and Marina Bay as an appropriate example shown here, with an area of 0.01 square kilometers, it is able to hold a total of 1 million kg worth of mass. This shows that based on this example, our proposed VRFS would be able to hold a total mass of 100 million kg. This means that our proposed VRFS would be able to hold not just military tanks but also other heavy vehicles such as cargos and helicopters. Despite all that, we believe that there are still some areas of improvements that we can work on. For example, we are unable to ascertain the exact cost of constructing the VRFS as there are varied materials required in its construction, such as sand and concrete. Also, due to a lack of primary research, we are unable to guarantee that the SNC would be willing to help us provide their facilities and carry out the mediation session. Furthermore, the military might not want to use the VRFS for their own usage, as some of their main activities, such as those involving explosions and live firing, cannot be carried out on the VRFS. In conclusion, despite all these improvements that can be made, we believe our strategies are still effective and feasible as they meet both parties' needs, which is why both parties will be sure to go for mediation. Even if our first mediation session fails, we still have a backup plan in the form of the LFX. With this, we are able to save Singapore's biodiversity and also meet Singapore's needs. This will allow us to reach the resolution of the conflict, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why our proposal is indeed conflict no more.